When we think about YouTube, we used to think of it as a kind of social network. We don't really think of it that way anymore, but we have kind of pivoted that to a diplomatic streaming platform where anybody, myself included, can have a YouTube channel. You can base it around kind of a niche interest like guitars, me, 60 cycle hum, or it can be more general interest like good mythical morning. That being said, YouTube, though it's becoming a lot more like TV, still its primary thing is it is the world's second largest search engine after its daddy, Google. It has billions of searches a month, I'm pretty sure. And as a content marketing manager, I have used tools throughout my career to find out what are people searching on the internet so I can write about it. And that's what this video is about. I want to answer the most asked questions on YouTube about guitar, and there are a lot of them. So what are the most asked guitar-centric questions on YouTube? The answers may surprise you. Well, the questions may surprise you. I don't know if the answers will. One thing I do want to say before I get started is that probably the biggest search category is how to play certain songs. I'm just not going to cover that. I'm going to cover more technical guitar questions. That's just what I'm doing. So let's go. Outside of how to play Wonderwall, the most asked guitar question involves how to tune a guitar. When you take in that top keyword and throw in some related ones, you get over 4,000 people a month going on YouTube asking how to tune a guitar. I'm going to answer that question. And the easiest answer, the beginner answer, is that you need a tuner. And you can have a pedal tuner, you can have a standalone tuner, you can have a headstock tuner. Like, I love this little D'Addario guy here. Or you can use an app on your phone like Piano Tuner here. So let's use Piano Tuner. I'm also going to personally use my headstock tuner. First thing, I'm going to throw my guitar out of tune. To understand how to tune a guitar, you need to understand that every note has a set hertz that we tune to. We tune to A in 440 most of the time in Western music. Some people don't. That's their prerogative. But every note, E, A, D, G, B, high E, operate at a different hertz. That's different vibrations. So how fast it goes on a wave. So like the low E, I forget exactly what that is, but to go an octave above that, it would double the vibrations. It's a little technical, but if you are sharp or flat, you're just thrown slightly out of that hertz range, that specific hertz. So if an A is 440, if you're at 420, you're flat. If you're at 460, you're sharp. So sharp is too high, flat is too low. It is the same with singing. Most tuners will have the note you're going for in the middle, or the note you're closest to at least, and there will be a little bar, and that bar might go red if you're very far away, but green and kind of to the side. You want to get that bar green and in the middle. This tuner right here, kind of similar. This is sort of weirdly between a strobe and a standard tuner. So let's get tuning. I made my E sharp. As you can see there, it's halfway between E and F. That's not good. Instead of just kind of going down incrementally, I'm going to make it flat. Because I think it's easier to go up into the correctly tuned note than down into it. Ooh, that's E flat. And we can see that was about 82 hertz. And our A, you know, worse. So that A is 220, and then the next A up would be about 440. But I digress. as you're tuning your guitar, if that's your tuner, you're just going to do that over and over for every single string. Easy enough. What a lot of people ask though is how to tune by ear, and I like to think of it more as tuning by feel, because it's easier to kind of feel those vibrations. And what I mean is, like I said, if you're at 440A, you're going to be vibrating, and then if there's another 440A in there, they're going to be at the same. Or even if it's a 220A, they're going to be the same. But if they're a little bit off, there's that dissonance, and that dissonance is like a vibration that you can feel. Like, listen, you can hear this A and this. You can hear those aren't the same. We can also feel it, and you have to be holding the guitar to feel this. And if you have a snare drum in the room, this is like a cheat code for tuning your guitar by ear, because the snare will rattle when the notes aren't in tune and will stop rattling when they're perfectly in tune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the A on the low E, which is the next string over, and I'm going to pluck it and the open A at the same time. Until I don't feel that vibration anymore. And yeah, I did speed that up. That was a little bit slow on my part. Next, for the D string, that is the 5th fret on the A. That's closer. G string is 5th fret on the D. And then the B, this is the only one that's different, is the 4th fret on the G. Ooh, boy. Oh, there we go. And then the E is the 5th fret on the B. Little sharp. And then I like to go back to the beginning and check the E's against each other. That's pretty close. So that is how you tune a guitar by ear or by feel. So when would you tune a guitar by ear? I mean, you can do it if you just want to get relative to yourself when you're playing alone. If you have something like an electric piano or a bandmate has already tuned, you might do that. When I play bass, I don't always have a pedal tuner. If I don't want to pull out my phone, I will just ask someone to give me an E, and I'll tune by ear from there, because headstock tuners don't work great on bass guitars. Just a fact of life. The next group of queries is about how to restring a guitar, and whereas how to tune a guitar, tuning a guitar is tuning a guitar, restringing and the process varies by type of guitar. So how to restring an acoustic guitar gets 1,100 monthly searches, electric 1,700, classical 900. I am not going to restring an acoustic guitar, and I'm not going to restring a classical, but I am going to restring a guitar, or show you how to restring a guitar with 2 different kind of tuner heads. One is this modern style where the shaft is not split, but there is a hole in the side of each tuning peg that you put the string through. And that's very common. Personally, I prefer a vintage style tuner, which has a hole, like a slit in the, it's called a split shaft. You trim the string about 2 inches or 2 tuning pegs up, put the string in the hole, and just watch. I apologize in advance for the lesser quality of the video. My lighting rig is not nearly as good in my garage, but here you go, and I hope it's helpful. I'm here with some vintage style tuners. I wish I had an overhead view for you. I don't today, but this will work just fine. So I already have the string pulled through the bridge, and I'm going to start with the low E. So that's right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up about 2 frets, and I'm going to clip the string. I don't need the rest of the string, especially with a vintage style tuner. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to put it in the hole. This is a split shaft. Let me just pick that up for you a little bit. So you can see there's a little split there. I am going to balance the camera and put the string in the hole. And this is why I love vintage style tuners. I just think it's easier. Next, we're going to apply pressure. And we are going to use the peg winder to tighten. So get that back on the nut there. Press down. Always apply the downward pressure because you want that first wind to be low. Wrong way. All right. That will do it. That's how you restring it. This guitar needs a setup very badly. It doesn't have one. So that's how you restring a vintage style guitar. Hi again. Am I going to focus this time? Probably not. But this is a modern style tuning machine. There is no slit in the top, but there is a hole right there that we are going to feed the strings through. I have some string joys. And let's get started. I do this a little bit differently than some people. You don't have to trim the strings in advance on a modern style tuner, but I do. And depending on the length, and you can see these are staggered posts. These two are taller and the rest are a little bit shorter. I'm going to go up 2 peg lengths or 2 inches on that low E, and I'm going to trim it there. I'm going to discard the rest, and I'm going to feed the string through, and you can't really see that very well, so let me just change the angle a bit. I'm going to feed the string through and wrap around once, and I'm going to go over that little extra. And for the other winds, I'm just going to apply pressure down here, and let's go. And my finger stuck. Was too excited to show you how to string a guitar. There we go. You can see how nice and tight that wind is, I hope. Isn't that nice? And there's really not a lot sticking out. I'm going to do another string, and I'm going to I'm not going to trim it enough, and then you're going to see what the difference is. So my A string. And I'm going to go a little bit farther up with this one. 3 pegs. So once again, let me get this out of the way you can see it, I hope, a little bit. Feed that through, I'm going to leave about 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch extra. And I am again going to, do that first one. Oh gosh, I was right the first time. That first one over that extra bit. Keep pressure applied. And what I like about having done that, and that's kind of hard to see, but making the first string go over and then applying the pressure down means it goes under for the rest, and you can kind of just manipulate this guy because it's just wire. Speed this up in post, and it will come boop, right off. Came right off, and now no pokey. Not going to get poked at all for that. But what if you don't have a string cutter? Well, then I guess you can just do that method. And go ahead and feed it through the next post. It's up there. Pull it tight-ish and then give it some slack. Okay? Fun with magnets. So I want to come back about this I think. I do worry that's too much. Do an initial wind. Why do I always have trouble with this? The initial wind over again. I'm worried I left too much slack, but we'll find out. Watching the lens. That was not too much slack. That in fact might have been too little, but again, manipulate this guy. Speed up in post, and there we go. No extra. No pokes. So, put me in focus. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. So, that's how you do it. Next up, we have how to read guitar tabs. Guitar tabs are easy, so easy in fact that when the internet kind of started and people first began sharing tabs with each other, some of the old guard called it cheating because they had to learn by ear. That's not cheating. Let's take a look at some guitar tab and talk about what it means. So there you go. That is a guitar tab. There are 6 lines. Tabs have 6 lines, one for each string. Normal musical notation has 5 staffs, so they're just not the same. And the other difference between a musical staff and a tab is instead of shaped notes for whole, quarter, eighth, half, triplet, etc., it's just numbers on the string. And the lowest string, the bottom string, that's your low E. That's what people get confused about because it doesn't look like, I don't know, some people get confused. It's fine if you are, but the low string is the low E, the top string is the high E, and the other strings are in the middle. So when there's a number on a line, that simply means you play that string at that fret. So a 5 on the low E string is that. If there are 2 notes that are like on top of each other or like just in a line parallel to each other, you play them at the same time. That can be like a power chord, or it can be like a double stop. Just 2 notes at the same time. It's helpful in general if you understand musical notation and what a whole note is, what a half note is. The thing about tabs is you mostly want to, you look at that to know where the fingers go, but you have to use your ear for the most part to know when to pluck a string or when to strum. A lot of people who write tabs try to give you some hints. They'll put more space after a number, after a note, if it's a longer note or you wait longer. And if it's just rapid picking, they'll just like write that number one after another, probably without even a hyphen in between it. And that's the basics for you. Most tabs also have a glossary of terms on them. For example, if there's an H between the note, it's indicating a hammer-on, which is when you pluck one string and slap your finger down on the next one. It's very percussive. Versus, it's cool, it's musical. A slash is a slide. That's where you slide between the notes. A P is a pull off. And you pull off, you don't go straight up. You go to the side a little bit. A squiggly line is vibrato. B is a bend, etc. Check the glossary if you're confused, and if you don't know what those terms are, I'm sorry, that's a different video. I've already told you too much. Okay, well, tabs, there you go. If you're not wanting to read tabs, but you're wanting to read chord charts, you might be wondering how to strum a guitar. And we're going to start with a guitar pick. You pinch the pick between your fingers. The point is kind of pointing out from your fingers or off to the side a little bit. The point is pointing off like to the side, like maybe at like a 45-degree angle. Whatever you're comfortable with is probably correct. But the big thing is, let me just get one out of the way here. But the big thing to remember when you're strumming, and don't laugh about like people Googling how, like you looking up on YouTube how to strum a guitar. It's something that's kind of hard to explain with words, to be honest. 700 people look up how to strum a guitar. And strumming can get advanced. If you ever think that strumming is just easy, pull up a video of Prince or Nile Rodgers playing rhythm guitar, watch their right hand, and that's a master class in rhythm guitar. So just get over it. But let's talk about strumming. You strum with your wrist, not your elbow. I rest my arm against the body of the guitar, and I just get a really smooth motion going with my right hand. Make a GIF, I don't care. It's important to get that flow going, and that's going to come with practice. It's going to become muscle memory. And I recommend going down on the down beats. Again, please learn some music theory. And up on the up beats. So like down, down, and down, down, and is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and down, down, and down, down, up, down. You know, you just kind of try to skip the strings on the way up. I don't want you to see you going down, down, down. There's a place for it, certainly. I really behoove you to first practice the art of going down and up. I just think it's a better practice, and it's going to help you with your timing. That's what I would recommend. What if you don't have a pick? You just have your fingers. Well, you could just kind of pinch your fingers together like you have a pick, in which case you're mostly strumming with the nail of your index finger. You could just strum with your thumb. I personally like to do downstrokes with the nails of my fingers and up with the thumbnail. So, and this can open you up to advanced techniques eventually, like the Carter scratch, which I think Mother Maybelle Carter used a pick for all of that, but the idea is you would use your thumb and you'd pluck out a melody. You'd pluck out a melody, something like that, and then you'd strum at the same time with your fingers. So. Advanced, yes. Fun, also yes. Last, but certainly not least, 1,900 people, well, probably over 2,000 when you include some long tail variations of this, ask how to learn guitar, how to play guitar, how to start playing guitar. And the big secret to learning guitar is you gotta start. You have to borrow or buy a guitar. Don't steal a guitar. Don't steal a guitar. Don't steal guitars. But get your hands on a guitar and try different things out. I really recommend seeing a teacher in person or online for your first couple of lessons. That's just going to be the best way to learn some of those fundamentals. And teachers in general can get you out of bad practices, ones that can even be harmful for you. Things like strumming with your elbow, which can cause tennis elbow tendonitis and really sucks. It just sucks a lot. That being said, try tabs, try YouTube videos, try things like Coach Guitar or Fender Play. There are lots of ways to learn guitar, and some are going to jive with you and some simply aren't. I love learning from books. I buy lots of books about guitar techniques, and I love it when they come with audio samples, but that's just not everybody's jam, and that's cool. There's not a right way to learn guitar, and there's not a wrong way to learn guitar either. The best way to learn guitar is to just do whatever works for you. Use all the tools you have available. None of them are cheating. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I might do a part 2, 3, etc. Please like, comment, subscribe below. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset. We have merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. You can say thanks financially in a button down there, or you can use the affiliate links in the video description to buy. things from like Sweetwater or Reverb, because that's just a great way to support the channel, doing things you were probably going to do anyway. So, you know, you look great. You're aging like a fine cheese. Mwah. To everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily. Goodbye.